All right, John, and 3, 2.
Good morning, everyone. I'm super excited to kick off day 2 of LA Blockchain Summit. I'm Jon Farjo. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer of LunarCRUSH. And today I'm going to give you a market update. I'm going to twist it a little bit. I'm going to talk about more community trends, but we will talk about some coins along the way. I just want to tell you a little bit about what it is LunarCRUSH does. As we say, without community, there's no crypto. And we really aim to bring transparency. We bring transparency to all of that crazy community activity that you see every day on all your favorite social channels out there. And we do that through, we collect social and market data for over 2,000 coins currently, and we're adding more all the time. And so far we've collected over 250 million posts at a rate of about 400 to 700,000 posts that we analyze every single day. I say analyze because we use artificial intelligence to classify for sentiment, for spam, and we do all sorts of great things. And we do that through LunarCRUSH.com, which is totally free to sign up. And you can go in there for free right now, sign up, and get all of this and these analytics in real time for free. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about the market today. So what we're seeing. So as far as volume goes, what volume really represents is those are the mentions of all of the different coins that are in our system. And every time someone mentions them. So over the last 24 hours, we've collected about 290,000. For some comparison, lately that's been about 240 to 250,000 a day. So it's up a bit today. Social engagement, that's all your retweets, your comments, and all of that deeper level engagement. 705 million over the last 24 hours. So a lot of activity there. And within all those posts, we're seeing 60,000 plus shared URLs out there. So a lot of activity. So I want to give some depth to these numbers and talk about what these trends are that we're seeing out there. So I'm going to start with something that's not so fun, and that is spam. So I'm sorry you did not win the sushi giveaway or the Uniswap giveaway. We're seeing a lot of this. A lot of times people are posting, and these are the responses from a lot of fake accounts. So we've done a pretty good job to capture this stuff and understand. In fact, spam is actually a metric. So we collect it, we eliminate it from the totals that I just showed you, but it is way up. So that is one thing that we're noticing. We're also seeing that giveaways are on fire, and there's a lot more giveaways now than I think we've ever seen. And we classify those as well. And some are great and some are more spammy than others, but really, it's about ROI. Our space loves giveaways. They love to do giveaways versus advertise. It's a much more authentic means of trying to stoke your engagement on your account. So we're seeing a lot of that. But on a serious note, we're seeing more and more and more, to be expected just based on where the time is at. We're seeing a lot of political posts. So yesterday, for example, beyond crypto even, we saw all markets take a bit of a dump when Trump said that there's going to be a delay on stimulus till after the election. So we're seeing things like that. We're also seeing things like billionaire investors flight to safety. They're looking at Bitcoin as how do I save my money? How do I earn money? How do I not have the government just keep endlessly printing money and taking it from me? So there's a big volume of politically oriented posts that have huge engagement. So there's a lot going on there. Again, on the negative side, as we've seen the last week here, last few days, we've seen KuCoin hacked. There's been some positive news with some of the coins recovered there. We've seen BitMEX with Arthur Hayes and the US government's coming after them. And so there's a lot of negativity from exchanges, and that's had some influence out there. McAfee Arrested. So I think we saw this, we heard this a lot yesterday from a lot of the different speakers, and there's been a whole lot of engagement and tons of posts and shared links around McAfee being arrested. SEC's charging him with $23 million in illegal Bitcoin and ICO gains. So, yep. Okay, so on the exciting front, on the positive side, we're seeing that corporate cash reserves are now moving into Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, they're putting cash reserves in, and this cannot be more exciting to us. There's a lot of chatter around this, and we hope to see a lot more companies do this. So very exciting, really great direction. We're seeing Metamask go absolutely crazy. So this moves right alongside the DeFi craze and Uniswap and all the DEXs that are out there. So they just crossed 1 million monthly active users. And they're announcing a whole bunch more things as well recently here, but parabolic growth, huge, absolutely amazing for Metamask. And another thing that we're seeing more of than we've seen recently is we're seeing more partnerships. So across the board, yesterday it was EOS with Google Cloud, a lot with Chainlink. It seems like almost every day there's something with Chainlink. We're seeing a lot of different things going on out there. So really across the board, this is a really big deal when you consider that we're seeing increased activity, really not across any one coin, it's across the whole space. So partnerships are huge. That's great. That looks more like adoption. And of course, got to throw this in there because yes, there is a lot of trending activity around LA Blockchain Summit. So we're seeing a lot of posts around this the last 24 hours. So good job, everyone. And I'd say to keep on sharing, spread the good word of crypto. And where is all this stuff coming from? So one of the things that we do is we track influencer activity right now for Twitter. And what we do is we objectively look at it. It's not like we're in a room saying who's most influential every day. We actually objectively look at every single post that comes through, who it came from, the engagement that's on that post, and the activity of an individual account. And is their following increasing? Is it relatively stronger than one or another? And then we break that down by time, because if someone's influential one day, they may not be next week. And so we look at all sorts of different things. And notice how I didn't put sentiment in there. Now, there's individuals like Max Kaiser, who's super Bitcoin bull, Bitcoin Magazine, David Gokhshtein, shout out. And then there's people like Peter Schiff, where a lot of people would say, well, he's not an influencer. Well, actually, he's very influential because most of our community comments on his posts. And so we give him that influence. And so influence is less about sentiment and much more about that activity and that engagement. So looking at some coins, so what's hot? So there's four things here. I want to start in the top left. So just social volume, just to give some relative understanding of where we're at. Bitcoin over the last 24 hours has had about 110,000 social mentions that we've captured versus, say, compare that to Tether. Tether's had 2,293. And so we've seen lately Uniswap and Bitcoin kind of duking it out. There's been a lot of activity around Uniswap, which is amazing. And even Yearn Finance, we're seeing a lot around that and a lot of the DeFi projects. On the social dominance front, on the bottom left there, Bitcoin's 33.21% of all social posts out there. The thing to mention here is this was over 60 to 70% 3 months ago. So we're seeing Bitcoin social dominance drop a lot. As Joe mentioned yesterday in the morning update, we're seeing that social activity be replaced by a lot of DeFi projects. And so DeFi starting to come up, and there's a lot of DeFi projects, so it's fragmented across lots of coins. Engagement, lots of engagement on Bitcoin, more than everything else. Again, 400 million engagements over the last 24 hours versus Litecoin has 4 million, and that's in number 10th place. And then AltRank. AltRank, we're seeing EOS, the number one AltRank. And what is AltRank? AltRank is social activity plus market activity. That market activity has to be beating Bitcoin's price. And so what we end up seeing is coins that are both having a lot of social activity and performing very well. So I just want to, I only have a couple minutes. And so what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about DeFi and just give some, a little bit of understanding with where we're at. So, a few months ago, we had just a handful of these projects on our site. We're going to have over 100 in a few days. I'm sure we'll have 200 and then 500 and then 1,000. So it's growing crazy, but just where is it at? And so when we look at where it's at, in general, there's less than 2,000 social mentions per day for most of these projects. So I threw Bitcoin and Ethereum in here so you could kind of see what's going on here in Uniswap. But other than, say, Yearn Finance, Chainlink, and Sushi, we're seeing that everything else has less than 2,000 social mentions per day that we're capturing. So the volume is still really low. It's still really early. These communities are still really small. And so just keep that in mind, that it's not like this is saturated. There's hardly anyone talking about it, relatively speaking. Even though we're all in this space and think everyone's talking about DeFi, it's early. Another thing to say is, like, even when we talk about the engagement, Bitcoin has had over about 110, I'm sorry, wrong number, about 400 million social engagements in the last 24 hours. If I compare that to, say, Balancer, it's 1.6 million. If I compare that to, say, Serum, it's 3.3 million. So small, still early. There's still a lot of room to run and grow with these projects. And we'll see how this all shakes out over the coming months and years. And with that, I will just tell you, check out LunarCRUSH.com. Check us out on Twitter at LunarCRUSH. I'm happy to answer any questions. You can message me on or DM me on Twitter at Jon Farjo. And thanks a lot. Have a great day.